royal city, rising from the water as if they were some sort of perfectly symmetrical shell piercing the river's surface. He knew that this city did not in fact float above the Tonawa, or even sit along its shore, but once they had made it across, they would have only prairie and plains, and then finally the Edishu left between them and their goal. My goal, he corrected himself. It is my goal, mine, Kagiri, no other. You know that is not true, a fourth voice intruded. To claim there is no other, it is in fact the farthest thing from the truth, for there are others. There is us, and without us there is no you. You lie, Kagiri snapped, biting down on each word before spitting it forth. I am not you. You are not me. I am Kagiri, and you are nothing. We are the Gensaiba, all four voices replied together, along with their two remaining brethren. We saved you, Kagiri. Never forget that. And now we are you, and you are us. You cannot be rid of us, not ever. We are here with you until the end. We shall see about that, Kagiri vowed, his hand tightening on his sword at last. He gazed out at the river, standing alone from his followers, while in his mind he battled the 6 master warriors in his head. They had far more experience than him, far more knowledge, far more skill. But this was his body, his mind. He had not chosen to share it with them. He had not invited them into himself, and now he was determined to be rid of them somehow, no matter the cost. But he knew that however he accomplished that feat, it would have to be done before they reached Awahinchi, for the Gensaiba were made for battle and conquest. If he allowed them to enter the fabled city of polished light, he was not sure he would ever be able to dislodge them from his mind or his soul. That close to their prize, they would be all but unstoppable, and he might truly lose himself within their collective identity. Even as he strode toward the others, his long legs eating up the intervening distance with smooth, powerful strides, he fought not to shudder at the thought of that, of being submerged forever within their constantly alternating array of personalities. Would he even survive as another voice? Or would he simply be snuffed out, torn apart and scattered or consumed into the rest? They were ancient warriors, after all, legendary figures from the time before the great and terrible schism that had torn this land apart and destroyed its magic. He was merely a boy from a small fishing village, seeking his fortune. If they were united against him, he doubted he could withstand their attack for long. And then the Gensaiba would be released upon the world, with no qualms against destroying anyone and anything that blocked them from obtaining their heart's desire. He could not allow that to happen. Chapter 2. Well, Noniki declared, sinking down onto a boulder as if the frown he bore on his broad, open face was an iron weight. This is a problem. I warned you, Seikoku said, shifting beside him but remaining on her feet. The lithe former thief was not fond of sitting. She preferred to always have the option to run, though worry creased her brow as well. Her lovely features were not nearly so grim as his, and the hand she rested on his shoulder was gentle, consoling, while her tone was mildly teasing. I said not to assume this would all be easy. You were right, he admitted readily, and a part of him marveled at that. There had been a time, not all that long ago, when he could barely even conceive of being wrong, but much had happened since to convince him just how little he knew about the world and the way it worked, much less the way people thought and felt and behaved. Now he knew it was folly to try to be right all the time. His goal was simply to learn and grow and not make the same mistake twice. I thought we'd be able to just, I don't know, beg passage, he concluded, waving his hand at the sight before them. The hills dipped down past where he sat, the slope gentle enough to still walk down and lead beasts along, but steep enough to make rapid progress as the land flowed toward the broad ribbon of gleaming silver and blue flowing past its edge. This was the Wagata, the first of the 2 rivers they would have to cross to reach Awahinchi, and while a fraction of the Tonawa that coursed past to the east, it was still far too broad and quick and deep for them to attempt to wade or even swim. Boats were the only way to cross. Twisting slightly, he studied the crowd that had paused behind him and Seikoku. Jitu Kanai was closest, the sturdy potter nearby as always, and he could also pick out Kuma and Isoro and Saneda and Skame and Minawa and many others,